everyone, my name is Katie. I'm the PR manager here at Transfer USA, and today we are excited to present the first ever Fair Trade cooking show. And our guest today is Tanya. She is the founder of La Yapa, Quinoa with a Cause. She is actually a former school teacher, and the cause that she's promoting with this quinoa is to give children in Bolivia access to education. So Tanya, why don't you tell us what you're making today?
Okay, so today we're going to make a nutritional version of chocolate cake for your Valentine's Day. So it's basically a chocolate cake with quinoa, cooked quinoa in it, and a little cardamom to make it a little different than just chocolate cake. So you have a healthy option to a Valentine's chocolate cake. And we start with, basically it's 1 cup of cooked quinoa, and I want to show everybody how beautiful it's a tricolor quinoa. You can make this recipe with all 3 different types of quinoa, the white, the red, or the tricolor. And you can see the 3 beautiful boxes here. And this 1 cup of quinoa, you are going to want to rinse it before you actually cook it. That's to get the saponin. We pre-wash the quinoa, but just in case, we ask people to rinse it at home. The best way to rinse it is in a strainer like this. And so you would place your quinoa in the strainer and put it under the faucet for a little bit under the water, and then you would pour it into the rice cooker. And yes, you can make quinoa in a rice cooker. Quinoa is made, you make quinoa just like rice. It's 1 cup of quinoa, 2 cups of water.
And so all that is just 1 cup?
All that is just 1 cup. And
so that makes a lot.
It makes a lot, and not only it makes a lot, but it fills you up. And so it's a very nutritious meal, and it's, it goes a long way, and it gives you a lot of energy. The Incas, for example, were fueled with this grain, and the Spanish came when they realized how much power it gave them. They made it illegal to grow quinoa, and it was it was sold under the black market for years and years, and the seed was taken away. They weren't allowed to grow it, but it was a black market purchase that they had to make. And there's pictures that I've seen where people are selling quinoa in hiding corners, and because it did fuel the Inca Empire. So the Spanish said, we need to weaken them. Let's take away what makes them strong. So a small bowl of quinoa will go a long way. It's excellent for anything. And so for your Valentine's dinner, it's a good option. And I have made this cake before, gluten-free. You can choose to use quinoa flour. Today I'm using just regular flour, but you can use gluten-free flour options so that your whole cake is gluten-free. And the grain is gluten-free, which is another great point about it. So you are going to put in it's 1 whole cup of quinoa into your bowl.
And how long did that take to cook?
This takes just like rice, about 10 to 15 minutes. It cooks exactly like rice, so the preparation, it's much healthier than rice, and but it's more nutritional. Astronauts have actually been asked, if they were to take 1 food with them on space, they would take quinoa because it's a complete food. It gives them all the nutrition they would need to survive up there. So that's another good thing. So then you have your 3 eggs, and that gives you a little more protein. And then you have your 2/3 cups sugar, and we want to use fair trade sugar.
Wholesome sweeteners.
And you have your 1.5 cup of flour, and again you should use fair trade flour. And we are soon going to have our flour in our fair trade box.
Oh.
So,
A quinoa flour.
quinoa flour, yeah. And
exciting.
then you have your baking powder. You have 1 tablespoon, and the cardamom. And so you mix this a little bit before you put your delicious fair trade chocolate. And you're going to put 4 ounces of chocolate and 1/2 cup of melted butter. So you want to melt your butter and your chocolate while you're cooking your quinoa. So you have all that ready to go. And so you pour the delicious ingredients that are the best for Valentine's.
Is it a milk chocolate or a dark chocolate?
This is a dark chocolate. You can make it with milk chocolate, but I think nowadays most people prefer to eat dark chocolate because it's healthier and richer. And so what the quinoa does is it gives it a thicker consistency. It's actually, you can eat it for breakfast. I've eaten this cake for breakfast.
Really?
Because, you know, it's a whole grain cake.
Yeah.
So it's not just a chocolate cake. My 2-year-old loves chocolate, so I make this for him. So the chocolate he's eating is a little bit, you know, has nutrition in it, not just chocolate. And I've made these into little mini cupcakes.
Oh, cool.
So you don't have to make a whole cake.
Like for
Yeah.
kids to bring into their
Into
classes.
school, and or even as hors d'oeuvres at a party, just the little mini cupcakes, and do that. So then you want to just grease your pan and your heart-shaped pan for Valentine's, and you can get that anywhere.
That's necessary.
Yeah, you want to grease it, and
You need to have a heart-shaped pan.
you do need to have that if you want to impress your date. And so you then pour your batter, and you're going to have been preheating your oven at 350. And then it's going to take about 25 to 30 minutes for it to bake.
Does it rise a lot? Or
It doesn't rise a lot because of the quinoa, but if you put a little more if you want it to be more fluffy, put a little more baking powder. I kind of like it the way it is because again, it does feel more like a, I don't know, like a loaf sometimes. But I have made it with more baking powder. It goes. Also, if you don't want to use that much sugar, you can substitute the sugar with applesauce. And that actually makes it more moist. So you're going to stick this in your oven and wait 35 minutes.
Put it in the oven.
Okay. And ta-da. 25 minutes later,
It's beautiful.
you have your cake. And so you want to make it pretty for your date. And the best thing you can do for that is use your fair trade powdered sugar. And so you're just going to sprinkle some
That's beautiful.
all the way around. And then you're gonna go try and find fair trade little hearts. I'm bad. Someday we'll have that. And so you want to decorate with your little hearts. What are they called? Confetti. And
That's amazing.
so this dessert is something that you can have with either your delicious fair trade teas, or with some great wine. either rosé or your red wine as well.
That's beautiful.
And again, you can make the cake with either red, tricolor, or white quinoa. Fair trade, organic quinoa with a cause.
Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
wonderful. Definitely going to make that for my Valentine's Day.
So enjoy. Yay!